Hello and welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for Thursday, November 14th, 2013. Our first news item, Obama to allow you to keep your health plan, but also require insurance companies to say Obamacare could be a better deal. This article happens to be from The Blaze, but there are a lot of articles this morning about Obama because he gave a speech about Obamacare. So this explains as much as any. And if you're very curious, you can go dig deeper and find a lot, I'm sure. One interesting news item today pertaining to Obama is that according to Mancow, this man, Harry Lennix, an actor, said that he had trained Obama to deport himself in such a way as to come off like a more upper class Chicago African American. And if that's true, they chose the right guy, because this guy definitely comes off like a classy African American. Interestingly enough, he's done some work on screen that kind of indicates to me that he at least has an interest in exposing the underground, the dark aspects of our government, of the military-industrial complex. And that work is in the TV series Dollhouse, where he played the handler of a mind control slave. And more than that, I mean, the role is very three-dimensional, but it seems as if, to me, people who choose these kind of roles do so at least somewhat intentionally, because to some extent they have a desire to expose evil and shine the light on some of these well-hidden secrets. So that if you want to hear more about his statement, that and it was a privately made statement. It wasn't a news, wasn't a public statement, but it was in front of several people. So the assumption is that it was not necessarily off the record. You can hear more about it if you listen to the Mancow interview on Alex Jones from today. Just a little tidbit. But these are the kind of things that, as more people shine more light on more dark underbellies, it creates more and more of a wave of desire for change. And here is an article from Mother Jones. Does posting jihadist material make Tarek Mehanna a terrorist? How the outcome of Mehanna's trial could rewrite the line between speech and crime. And this article begins, does posting militant videos on the internet make you a terrorist? For Tarek Mehanna, it just might. Arrested in 2009, Mehanna is a Massachusetts resident whom prosecutors describe as a longtime terrorist wannabe. He isn't just being prosecuted for trying and failing to acquire terrorist training in Yemen and lying to federal investigators. He's also being tried for posting pro-jihadist material on the internet. And of course, this has implications for all of us. He had a desire to be a terrorist, but if him, even in that position, posting things on the internet implicates him, causes him to, if it's an indictable offense, then for any of us, if we have a politically unpopular point of view that somebody might consider a threat, and it's all very subjective, that means that we also could be indicted for posting things on the internet. So this is really a crucial aspect of First Amendment law that's being addressed. Do we have the right to post, to freely express our thoughts and ideas online and elsewhere, or do we not? pretty black and white in many respects. RT has an article, Google NSA Tactics Bad for All American Companies. Now, I laughed when I saw that headline because in my mind, Google is virtually the same thing as the NSA because the two are pretty much married. And they pretty much are, I don't know that there's a real clear delineation between the two. I'm sure on paper there is, but in their behavior, I'm not so sure. But now Google is saying the NSA is bad. That's what made me laugh. We'll follow that. It's definitely bad. NSA tactics are having a negative effect on American companies. That is pretty much for sure. This article from Quartz, Cisco's disastrous quarter shows how NSA spying could freeze U.S. companies out of $1 trillion opportunity. And Cisco's numbers are off, and there is speculation that it's because people are buying less tech because the NSA is using tech to spy on us. So here is the bellwether. Cisco indicates American tech companies are no longer welcome in Russia and other emerging markets. So once again, our government has shot itself in the foot and us along with it. I found this article also at RT. TSA Behavior Profiling Techniques know better than chance at detecting security risks. And there's a report to substantiate that. So in many respects, all of this spying, all of this monitoring does really not, it doesn't do what they say it does. Now, what it can do is it can help the government find people who are saying negative things about the government. And that is the real reason for some of these agencies to exist. The reason they sell for these agencies to exist is to make everybody safer. Well, no, it doesn't make everybody safer. It only it has potential to make the government safer from citizens who are protesting and objecting to unrighteous and unlawful acts of government. And I happened to see a couple articles about prisons this morning, so I thought that I would pull a couple of other articles in and just take a look at this. Over 3,200 U.S. prisoners serving life sentences for non-violent offenses, including shoplifting. This article is from federaljack.com, but it originally appeared on RT. There is a guy who stole a jacket that was worth $159, and it's right down here, stealing the $159 jacket, convicted of shoplifting and sent to prison. And he was caught stealing the jacket in 1996. It is now 2013. It's like 18 years that he's been in prison for stealing a $159 jacket. How anybody can justify that is beyond me, at least lawfully justify it. And here we have, non-violent offenses. Well, they make good workmen in prisons. And the prisons are for profit. This article is from Breathing Forgiveness, Embracing the Giant Wound in the Naked Now. 6 revelations about how private prisons make their money. Imagine living in a country where prisons are private corporations that profit from keeping their beds stocked at or near capacity, and the governing officials scramble to meet contractual lockup quotas. Imagine that taxpayers would have to pay for any empty beds should crime rates fall below that quota. Surprise, you already live there. Some of these contracts require 90 to 100% prison occupancy. So this partially explains why a lot of people are in prison for nonviolent crimes, mostly drug use. Here's another article, Global Research, The Prison Industry in the United States, Big Business or a New Form of Slavery. If you've ever watched Shawshank Redemption, that's actually what is being done pretty much as a matter of course now. The prisons are paid to house these guys, and then they give the prisoners jobs. They work. They get, I forget, something like, I think it's like 30 cents an hour, 25 cents an hour or something. But for the products that are produced and for the work that is done, the prisons get paid close to what would normally be somebody's, they can underbid other contracts using this labor because it's slave labor, just like in Shawshank Redemption. So people are profiting as if these guys are slaves. It's a form of slave labor because they're kept there against their will, and they are forced to do this work, and it's big business, and people are making a lot of money on this. And here from beforeitsnews.com, Karen Hughes' secret plot to nuke parts of USA exposed. World Bank whistleblower Karen Hughes joins the Forerunner Chronicles for a fascinating interview that exposes bombshell after bombshell, from U.S. military officers fired by Barack Obama to a nuclear false flag attack upon U.S. soil. Hughes leaves very few stories unturned in this new video interview. Video transcript is below video. So Karen Hughes just has a tremendous amount of information. So it's good news that Karen is exposing some of these things. And I'm going to close not with good news really, but just with kind of an intriguing idea. This is one of the old conspiracy theories. It's been around a long time, but never loses its interest for me because there's so much to it. This isn't the conspiracy theory. This is a letter to Vladimir Putin in support of Greenpeace from Paul McCartney. And evidently Russia is holding some Greenpeace protesters, as far as I can tell. I haven't heard anything else about this. I don't follow news articles about Greenpeace particularly. But this is indeed a letter from Paul McCartney asking Putin to release these people. And this is Paul McCartney's website, so this is real. And we'll see how Putin responds. It's just so ironic how things change, that Russia used to be the enemy and now the enemy of liberty. And now it seems that they're kind of championing liberty. Not that holding Greenpeace protesters has anything to do with liberty. It's just Russia is becoming this beacon of ideas about freedom. It baffles my mind, having grown up during the Cold War. This is the real conspiracy theory, though, that I was referring to. This is The Lie Falls Apart, video and photo comps of Paul and Paul McCartney. Paul really is dead. If you look at some of these photos carefully, there's some very interesting photos and comments, and it's really pretty obvious in many respects. It's sad to acknowledge, and it's hard to acknowledge. Like all conspiracy theories, when we're shown the evidence, a lot of times it's painful. And this certainly is painful too, but it explains a lot For one, it explains why John Lennon was killed, and some other things that happened in the lives of other Beatles and the group as a whole, that they didn't tour after this. Maybe once, I think, they appeared live. So, very interesting stuff. If you have some time and you're curious, you might enjoy going down this rabbit hole, because it's a pretty deep one. Thanks for tuning in for today's news. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.